G'day cocktail lovers, I hope you've been keeping well. Hope you're ready for another Milk Punch Monday. I just want to give that a bit of zazz. Maybe I feel like I should throw like a big power chord behind that. I probably do not have the motivation to do that in my post-production editing, but it is Milk Punch Monday and I am doing another experiment. This one for a very quick explanation. I saw an article recently on the Punch Drink website, which is a great website for ideas, and they talked about milk washing spirits as opposed to milk clarifying an entire cocktail. And the difference being, you do the whole clarification process but just with the spirit element of the drink, and then you mix it with all the other ingredients and stir or shake. Well, actually the reason they do this, they say do it with shaken cocktails, because the potential advantage to doing that is the clarification or milk washing process changes the consistency of the liquid. It makes it a bit silkier, a bit more viscous, and if you give it a good solid shake, it tends to foam up like as if you had egg white in the drink. So that was their recommendation. It does change the taste of the spirit, and it also can give more body to the cocktail. I thought, that sounds interesting. I'm going to try that. I'm going to do a comparison. I'm going to do the same cocktail twice, once with a milk washed spirit and once milk clarifying the entire cocktail. And as for the cocktail of choice, I went with this one because we're looking at the anniversary of James Bond coming into the world. The first James Bond novel by Ian Fleming was published on April 13th, 1953. So James Bond, the character, is almost 70 years old, which is pretty wild, quite honestly. He's still such a big thing in entertainment and pop culture. 70 years on, who knew? But that's what you have. And I'm not making a Vespa Martini because I actually did that last year. Interestingly, the first drink James Bond ever orders in one of the books is an Americano. And I'm not making that because I don't like them, because they have Campari in them, and Campari is scraped off Satan's sweaty butt crack as far as I'm concerned. Way too bitter for me. But that's just personal taste. A lot of people really like Campari. I don't. Way too bitter. But I found a James Bond themed cocktail called the Money Penny. And it's a riff on a martini, which is fitting, and it has the addition of grapefruit juice in it. And of course, because it's James Bond themed, they say to shake it. You don't, as a rule, shake cocktails. James Bond was a moron on that front. That's shaken, not stirred. No, you stir martinis. But this one, at least the one with the milk washed gin in this case, I'm going to shake that because I want to see how foamy it makes, what sort of consistency that makes the cocktail. I'm not going to shake the milk clarified one. I'll do them side by side, which means making them twice. I have already done the preparation of the gin. I'm using this gin tonight because I thought we're doing James Bond. Why not go all the way? This is an Australian gin from Archie Rose. Their distiller's strength, 52.4%. 52.4% alcohol, so that's about 105 proof. An overproof gin, not quite Navy strength, I guess, but I have already done the preparation for this. You know what I haven't done? I haven't got my jigger. Now I have my jigger. Now we are going to add, look, I'll tell you the specs. The specs are 2 ounces, 60 mils of the gin, and 3/4 of an ounce, or about 22.5 mils of the grapefruit juice. Now, to do the clarification, we needed acidic content. I said, great, it's already grapefruit juice. I'll add the grapefruit juice to the gin in order to get the whole clarification process happening, which I did. So the actual measurements, if you're making it at home and not doing the milk washing, are 2 ounces of gin and 3/4 of an ounce of grapefruit juice. Because this is mixed, what I'm going to do is 2.5 mils of this mixture, and I'm going to add about 1/4 of an ounce more of the grapefruit juice. Now, as you noticed, not fresh squeezed. I did actually go to the supermarket specifically to get a grapefruit, and bad timing, they didn't have any. So I got, this is a pretty good quality juice. You know, it's the whole, it's not from concentrate, no added sugar, cold pressed, la-di-da-di-da, no preservatives. So it's a pretty good bottled fruit juice, and I'm just going to add 1/4 of an ounce of the grapefruit juice. Apart from the grapefruit juice, this is staying reasonably close to the standard martini formula. So we're getting some vermouth. Half an ounce of dry vermouth is recommended. This is another Australian product from Maid & I. This is their classic vermouth, their dry vermouth. So I'm just going to add half an ounce or 15 mils of vermouth. This recipe also has some sugar syrup in it, but a very small amount, just over a bar spoon, about 1/4 of an ounce of sugar syrup. So yeah, if you don't have something that measures that closely, a teaspoon or a bar spoon, just a little bit over a bar spoon, but we're going to add 7.5 mils, 1/4 of an ounce of sugar syrup. A little finishing touch, we are going to have 1 dash of bitters. I'm using orange bitters, which is what's very commonly used in martinis. This recipe actually recommended grapefruit bitters, because there's already grapefruit in there. I don't actually have any grapefruit bitters, so I'm doing 1 dash of orange bitters. This martini variation, as I said, against all laws of God and man, is shaken, because it's not really a martini. It's got citrus in it, which is something that you really don't put in martinis. But for Miss Moneypenny, we're going to do it. So put our shaker together, bang it in hard, and because I really want to see how much foam I can get, I'm going to shake this really hard for like 10-15 seconds. Now we're definitely going to want to fine strain this one, because there's going to be both ice shards from how hard I was shaking it, and possibly some pulp from the citrus juice, the grapefruit I was adding. So we'll fine strain that. I don't have any good martini glasses that match, so I'm using this rather nice coupe. Now I did not get a huge foamy head. I got a little bit of foam on that one, but I've got a very good wash line. So this is the Moneypenny with the milk wash gin in it. Now if I quickly swap over, put that down. I've had this one chilling in the freezer. I made earlier the milk clarified cocktail. So I made the whole cocktail and milk clarified it, and that can just go straight in a matching glass. And I see, volume-wise, they're a bit different. That could be water from the ice. That's really mismatched. Ah well, taste test time. That's what I want to see, if they taste particularly different. So a sip of the one that is simply milk wash gin. That is a pleasantly fruity drink. Now, what about the fully milk clarified one? The grapefruit is really, really coming through in this one. Weirdly, more than this one that had some unprocessed grapefruit, not clarified grape juice in there. I actually find that happens quite often when you do milk punches, that the fruit elements are more noticeable. I'm not altogether sure what causes that, but okay, well that's my little experiment. You can see obviously visually they're incredibly different, because this has both the grapefruit juice in it that hasn't been clarified, and I did the shaking. It's much more opaque, whereas the milk clarified one is rather beautifully clear, kind of what you want a martini to be. But you know what? As I said, not really a martini, because it has that citrus in it. Ooh. Yeah, this is one where I'm definitely preferring the fully milk clarified one. The milk washing is of the spirit is a very interesting one. Like if you actually wanted to really retain the flavors of the other ingredients in your cocktail, milk washing just the spirit can be a very interesting way to do it. I've also seen some recipes where people just milk wash, for instance, the citrus in there to clarify the citrus. So all the other elements are the same, but the citrus has been clarified, so the citrus doesn't really discolor the cocktail the way citrus often does. So all sorts of experiments that could be done. I didn't go into the detail of the milk washing on this one. If you've never seen me do it, right at the end, probably round about now, you should be able to see a link to a playlist of other milk clarified cocktails I've made where I go into more detail of the exact steps in making it. And I'll be coming back and making some more, no doubt. Hey, I hope you're back when I do, so if you're not already subscribed to the channel, it'd be great if you did subscribe. Hit the little notification bell so you know when I do upload. And by all means, in the comments, if there's a classic cocktail or just any questions you have about milk clarifying, milk punch, if you'd like to see me make a particular drink and milk clarify it, I'm always open to suggestions. But in the meantime, I'm going to finish these off. I hope you take care of yourself in the meantime. Take care of people around you as well. And until I see you again, it's time for the double fisting. Cheers.